You are listening to your new Puppies podcast, starting you and your dog off on the right paw. Here's your host, Debbie Salento.
Hello and welcome to episode 103 of your new Puppies podcast. I'm Debbie, and today we're going to talk about your puppy's first night home. So I have a whole 3-part series of the 3 phases to bringing your new puppy home. So phase 1 is preparing for your puppy. Phase 2 is settling in, and phase 3 is get to work. So this episode gets kind of squeezed in with the settle in phase. So that series goes into a whole lot more detail of what to do when you're preparing and when your puppy first comes home. So it's kind of like a supplement to that series, if you will. So if you haven't already, it's a free resource. You can find that series at playtimepaws.com/prep. That's PREP. Playtimepaws.com/prep. Here, I'm going to talk about a question that I get a lot, just about that first night, which is, we're coming home late and we're not going to have any time to really work with the crate. Where should my puppy sleep? What should we do that first night? Because we're not going to have time to prepare them. Now, if you watch that series, while your puppy is settling in, the only things I want you concerned about are crate training and potty training. And even those things you're not going to have a high expectation on, but you do want to start them. Crate training is mainly for safety reasons and potty training reasons. And potty training is because, well, we want to start teaching our dog to go outside as soon as possible because we're going to be building that habit and we want to start it soon. I also have a free resource for that. It's the complete guide to potty training your puppy, complete with a puppy tracker. And you can find that at playtimepaws.com/potty. I'll be linking to anything I mention in the show notes. So to answer the question, yes. Ideally, I do want your dog sleeping in the crate their first night because of safety reasons and secondary potty training reasons. So how do you connect this with, you need to crate train your dog and teach your dog to love the crate, but also use it that first night when you really haven't had time to do that. So you're going to have it all set up beforehand, make it nice and cozy, put it either in like a busier area of the house so it smells like you, or it can also be in your bedroom if that's where your dog is going to sleep. And then when you do bring them home, do what you can, whether you have hours or just an hour. Leave the door open, let your puppy explore it freely, maybe throw a treat or 2 in there. If your puppy is curious and playful about it, encourage it. But if they're not, don't worry about it because we don't want to force anything on them at this point. If it's appropriate, you can feed them a meal in there. If the rescue or the breeder sent a toy home or a blanket home, definitely put it in there. Now, when it is time for bed, what we can do to make our puppy feel a lot more comfortable, since they're not fully used to the crate yet, is, I've had clients pull out a sleeping bag and sleep right next to the crate, or pull the crate next to your couch or your bed. I've also had clients have success raising the crate a little bit, kind of putting it on a table so it's right there at eye level so they can totally see you. Sometimes just if they are just right next to your bed or the couch, just putting your hand on the crate can make them feel more comfortable. So this can make them feel more comfortable and not alone for their first night, but still keeping them safe in that crate. Now, all of that being said, if you end up falling asleep with the puppy in your lap or sleeping on your chest, is that ideal? No. Is that the end of the world? No. This first night is not going to make or break your training. The reason why it's not my first choice loops back to safety reasons. Because you fall asleep, the puppy gets up and walks away. You don't notice it because you're asleep and they get into trouble. They have an accident. Anything can happen. Now, after this first night, you now have some wiggle room where you're going to have more time to assimilate them to the crate, to give them a good association. And you do want to get them sleeping in it and not attached to you being right there sooner rather than later because it can become a really hard habit to break, which can cause more distress in the long run. There's also a very good possibility that nobody's getting a lot of sleep that first night, or even the next night, or maybe even for the next week or 2 or 3. It all depends on your puppy, but definitely be prepared for that. Because no matter how much I say it, when my clients actually get in it's still really, really hard and it feels like something's wrong, but it's very normal. Okay, so quick recap on what you're going to do for that first night. You're going to set up the crate before you even go get that puppy so it's ready when you get home. You're going to let your puppy explore it, keep it calm, keep it fun, maybe with some toys and some treats. And don't worry if your puppy doesn't really seem engaged with you yet. That's also completely normal. And then when it's time for bed, they do go in their crate, but we can make them more comfortable by sleeping right next to them, whether we go to them and sleep right next to the crate or we bring the crate to our couch or the bed wherever we're sleeping, just so we're closer and they know that we're there. I didn't mention this before, but do plan for 1 to 3 potty breaks overnight, especially because you don't know this puppy's schedule yet. So it could be useful to have an alarm to wake you up every 3 to 4 hours to make sure that you're getting this puppy out as much as they need to. And all of that being said, if you don't do everything quote unquote right, this first night is not going to make or break it. Okay, their safety comes first. Their comfort comes at an extremely close second. And we also want to keep potty training in mind, but it's also not the end of the world if they have an accident that first night. Everybody's getting used to each other. So if you want more details about what to do when to bring your puppy home, all the way from prep to when you get to work, check out my 3 phases to bringing your puppy home. It's a 3-part video series. It's a free resource, and you find that at playtimepause.com/prep. And if you want more detail about potty training, you can get my complete guide to potty training your puppy at playtimepause.com/potty, POTTY. And that is all I have for you today. If you're enjoying this podcast, but are still feeling a little lost or unsure about what to do when it is time to get to work, just know you are not doing anything wrong. You are just a human trying to raise a dog. And that's exactly why I created my digital program, Your Perfect Puppy. You get a clear roadmap, and I'll be there with you every step of the way to help you feel confident as you raise your well-mannered dog. You can check it out at playtimepause.com/puppy. And if you want to support this podcast, rating and reviewing it wherever you listen helps other puppy parents find the podcast. Either way, thank you so much for listening. I'll speak with you soon. Bye for now.